Hey guys, so today I am going to be doing a get ready with me. A lot of you have asked me to update my makeup routine. Nothing has really changed. I kind of do my makeup the same all the time, every single day. I'm so boring. I used to be really into doing my makeup and trying new eyeshadow palettes and all that bullshit, but now I'm getting too old for it and I don't care. I don't want to spend $50 for an eyeshadow palette at Sephora when another one is gonna just come out next week and whatever. Anyway, so along with this get ready with me video, I wanted to tell you guys about an experience that I had in Australia. I went to Australia, I think it's like about 2 months ago now. I went to Melbourne and I stayed at an Airbnb, and oh my gosh, I found this Airbnb on Airbnb.com and it looked really, really nice from the pictures. Like from the pictures, it looked beautiful. I even showed my friend where I was staying and she was like, wow, that looks so nice. I'm like, right, it had a great view. It was in like the central part of the city. So I was expecting it to be nice. And you know, the price wasn't too bad either. I mean, for the fact that it was in this really great location, the price was actually not bad at all. And just mind you, most hotels were probably around like $150 a night at that time. But I just decided to stay in an Airbnb instead because I feel like hotels just always end up getting you with these like hidden fees. You always end up ordering from like the mini bar and room service, and then like, you know, $1,000 stay will now all of a sudden become like $3,000 because you decided to eat the potato chips and every single little liquor bottle in the mini bar. I paid for it in advance. The woman who was the owner of the Airbnb was pretty nice, very communicative. Is that a word? James was actually the first person arriving because he had a flight before me. He had checked in, he told me that she was super, super nice and that the Airbnb was okay. Like, he didn't really say anything else. Well, that's disappointing. I was hoping that you would tell me that it's great, and it's got an awesome view and all these good things about it, but he just was not telling me much about it, which made me a little uneasy at first because I'm like, I want to know that this place is nice. So I ended up arriving the next day. So the building itself was really, really nice. The outside looked very new. The lobby was pretty small. Actually, it was very small. So this was like a high-rise, 1-bedroom, but like kind of the size of a studio. I walked in and I definitely started to notice things that were off about the place. And at first I realized that the pictures definitely made it seem much better than it was in real life. You know, you always hope that it's gonna look better than the pictures, or at least just look like the pictures. Right off the bat, I noticed that the place was not 100% clean. I also started to notice that like little things here and there were broken. For example, the shower head was broken. The sink was wobbly. There were things missing from the Airbnb, cooking materials and utensils, which I found to be annoying because they advertised it as having like a kitchen. And if you're staying somewhere for 2 weeks, you hope that, hey, I don't have to go out to eat every single day. Maybe I can prepare something in this kitchen. But this kitchen didn't have important amenities that we would need. Like, there were no sponges, no extra rolls of toilet paper. We were provided only 2 towels, which for 2 weeks is crazy. And I understand that, you know, for the price, we got what we got. But if an Airbnb host knows that we are coming there for 2 weeks and there's only 2 towels, perhaps they can like let us know, hey, bring your own towels. The carpets looked like they hadn't been vacuumed in forever, which to me is a huge peeve. Like, as you guys know, I have a very low immune system, and for me to even be traveling is a big deal because my doctors don't necessarily approve of me traveling, but I do it anyways because I do what I want. This was filled with dust and had all of these like random pamphlets, and I just couldn't take it anymore. Like, I felt like I was gonna become asthmatic if I didn't clean this, so I ended up dusting it and taking all of the dusty random pamphlets and just putting them aside. One of the things that I was looking forward to doing the most when I got to that Airbnb was to just take my clothes off and crawl into bed and take a nice long nap. It had been a 16-hour flight to Australia and I was exhausted. Well, I get to the bed and I pull back the sheets and there's no fitted sheet. There's just one of those flat sheets, the ones that doesn't like hug the mattress. Like, no fitted sheet. That's just something basic that should be on the bed. It doesn't have to be expensive. These are just small things that don't cost a lot of money that could really improve somebody's experience in this Airbnb. It made sleeping with another person in that bed pretty difficult because, you know, we would move around in our sleep and then the sheet would like come off, exposing the mattress, which is disgusting. That's just a basic thing I think any Airbnb or hotel should have. We looked around and there were no fitted sheets or anything like that. So the bathroom was dirty, like it looked like it hadn't been properly cleaned. The windows were also very dirty to the apartment, which I know is not 100% the fault of the woman who was managing the Airbnb. One of the weirdest things though was there was a broken television on the balcony, and the balcony could have been really, really nice. Like, had the owner of that Airbnb just gone to like a cheap little store and gotten a little cheap patio furniture set, that would have been a great use of space and it would have been a cool place to hang out. But it wasn't, because it was filthy and had a broken television on it. Oh yeah, we were only provided one key, which was extremely difficult on us because sometimes we would go and head off without the other person. That would leave one person usually locked out. Usually that person was me because James always had the keys. So I was locked out like twice, and the first time that I was locked out, I went to the front desk and I told them the exact situation. I said, my boyfriend, he left, he's not answering his phone, I am locked out of my Airbnb and I need to get back inside. The guy gave me such a hard time. He was such a rude asshole about it. Like, he begrudgingly got out of his seat, walked me to the elevator, and then like swiped the little card that you needed to go up to the floor where we were staying. And as the door was closing and he was getting out of the elevator, he's like, next time don't forget your key. And I'm like, I didn't intend on getting locked out. Like, no one wants that to happen. And then the second time that it happened, I went back to the office. There was a different person there and they told me that they did not have the authority to let me re-enter the Airbnb, that I would have to go to a different office within that building to go speak with somebody else who would be able to let me in. So I was like exhausted at this point. I went to the other office and they also told me, oh, well, we don't have the capability to let you back into that Airbnb. Oh, so I'm just locked out. Like, no, like the guy last time was able to let me in, but this time I can't. I think I actually sat in the lobby and was like trying not to cry, but I was tearing up because I was so stressed out. I just wanted to be let back into the Airbnb so bad. I really genuinely feel that like staying at that Airbnb did contribute to some of the stress that I had on that trip. Like, it wasn't the most relaxing trip, I'll be honest. Like, a lot of things happened on my trip to Australia that were extremely stressful, uncomfortable situations to be in, and that certainly did not help make it any better. If I ever go back to Australia, I'm just gonna stay at a hotel. I think Airbnbs are a hit or miss. It can be such a risk. Usually you can tell if a place is gonna be good or bad by the reviews, but yeah, just not worth taking that risk when you're traveling all that way. So next time I would definitely not do that. And then the last thing that I could say about this Airbnb that really just set me off was the fact that I felt like it would be a quiet apartment complex with a gym, a pool, just like a nice little haven, a little home away from home, right? Well, I was wrong. It was very clear after a few days of being there that this was not just like someone's apartment that they had Airbnb. This was an entire apartment complex using these apartments as temporary residences and Airbnbs for tourists, because everybody that was in the lobby, which was always jam-packed, and everybody in the elevators, which was always jam-packed, was somebody from like another country, was somebody that was visiting, and the elevators were always backed up. The lobby was always super crowded and full of people, and you really did not get that like community sense that you want to get when you stay in an Airbnb. The place was not suited to be used as a hotel. Like, it was meant to be a small high-rise apartment building, but instead it was just a zoo. It was just not what I expected at all. Just was not a pleasant place to stay. I did not end up cooking in that kitchen once because, like I said, there was nothing there. The sink was broken. And I'm sorry, like, I'm staying for 2 weeks. I want to be shopping for clothes and souvenirs and going out to eat. I don't want to be out like looking for a fitted sheet. I feel like my lips are like way too pale for this makeup look right now. And yes, I may seem like a brat and like I'm complaining, and I shouldn't really be complaining because I should be more grateful to have gone to such an awesome city. I don't know, maybe I am a brat, but I've stayed at, you know, budget Airbnbs. I've stayed at inexpensive places. The owners of that Airbnb always let me know in the Airbnb's profile that, hey, we do not provide towels or sheets or anything of this sort, bring your own. And this place was being advertised as being an Airbnb with all of the amenities. It was pretty misleading, and I think just the number one thing that really got on my nerves was the fact that it wasn't clean, and to me that is so important. I couldn't even do anything about it. I couldn't even vacuum the floor, so I just kind of stuck to wearing shoes inside. So there we go. This is just like my go-to everyday look. It's very simple. It consists of just a few products. We've got the Lancome Teint Idole. We have the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit. It's easy, it's natural. It only takes me like 10 minutes to do every single day. I'm just not a fan of like the really super made up look, so I just always tend to stick with this. As for my hair, I will usually just let it sit naturally. This is my natural hair, like out of the shower, dried, but you know, once in a while I will run a straightener through it. So that is my everyday makeup routine, and also the story of the worst, not the worst, but like one of the grossest Airbnbs I've stayed in, to be completely honest. And the only saving grace of this Airbnb was that the host of the Airbnb was really nice. She was very sweet, and I could tell that she probably hadn't been an Airbnb manager for a while because she seemed a little bit clueless in over her head. And so at the end of the stay, I did not leave her a negative review. I left her a constructive review, and I basically told her some of the things that she should work on to make people's stays more enjoyable there. And hopefully she took some of my advice, but I'm not gonna completely like rag on her and leave a nasty, horrible review and then risk somebody losing their job. That is just too much for me to handle. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you so much for being subscribed to my channel, watching my videos. Also make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Bye!